well, speaking of dead people, my topic is kind of long-winded. I couldn't find a good way to bring it all into a nice little package. But
my head today.
Basically, with the advancements in technology and the health industry specifically, how far would you let technology infiltrate your body? Like,
100%.
to what ends would you go? So, for example, there's currently they're in the process of the first ever head transplant. I think they're actually in surgery now.
Cool.
Because it's going to take months and like hundreds of doctors.
No, we're going to go to that live.
Yeah. So if this works, even if it doesn't work, there's the amount of information they're going to learn from it. But I've also read, I don't even remember where it was, and the date could change, but they're saying, give or take, that if the human species can make it to the year 2050, which we're not that far away from, that we have a high likelihood of being able to survive like indefinitely. Cool. As like a species, we can create a better biomechanical creature. So
I'm in.
that
Make me
being
into a
said,
robot
yeah,
Spider-Man.
I'm in.
how far do you go? All the way to like?
I think it's exciting.
Make me Spider-Man.
Head in a
I
jar,
want to be
Futurama style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head in a jar controlling your Bluetooth robot.
Yeah.
No, I want it to be like fully integrated. Like I think if they can get to a point where like they put something into me and it just starts replacing all my cells with robot superpower cells, I'm in.
Do it.
Like I want to be completely remade from the ground up.
Okay, so to counterpoint, when does it end?
You should. I wonder. You should have the option to like go as long as you want to.
So the reason I ask is because you got to think, being in the workforce, if you are now like essentially invincible, you're gonna live forever because you're a robot. You just go get your oil changed, right? When do you retire? Do you ever retire?
See, yeah, but
You're now a slave, like you're a worker slave, basically, forever.
Is work even necessary at that point, though?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, exactly.
It would have to be to maintain these bodies.
But couldn't you just create non-sentient robots to do that for you?
Yeah.
Like the way I see that all, like ending is some type of collective consciousness where everyone is kind of, where it's not so much in us, but we kind of all join into some thing together, like some hive mind type thing, and we have everything else doing all the work while we get to enjoy it. Kind of like we become the gods kind of thing. That's how I always pictured that.
What kind of
The
stimulus?
singularity.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what kind of stimulus are we
Matt
enjoying?
is so unhappy about not being.
Full-on panic attack. We need new people. Your scenario means no more new people.
Yeah, there is no new people.
That's actually I'm onto a new book now because I usually have like 3 or 4 books I'm reading and then a book that I have going for audiobook so I can listen to a book when I'm driving or when I'm cleaning or doing my chores. And I'm listening to Guns, Germs, and Steel. I just started it.
Okay, I've heard about that one. Yeah,
It's about how the main point of the book is to sort of argue against the idea that somehow races are different because of genetics and that like people who are still in tribal nations are somehow less evolved, which isn't the case, at least according to the science we understand now. And I think that's been pretty clear for a long time that most of the science showing that was true isn't. So I think like basically what he's getting at is like as society evolves, like society isn't somehow essentially better than anything else. It's just one way that things can go, and that once you like, so basically like I think how that applies to what we're doing here is like if we start doing that, people in Africa aren't going to suddenly have robot bodies. So does it create like a new species? Like are we?
Does.
Suddenly,
I think
That's
it
a
does.
good point.
Sure.
Yeah.
It totally does. It creates.
Wow.
It's like the ultimate social divide.
Yeah.
Either you're in or you're out, because there's no in between. You're either in and you've plugged into the system like the Matrix, or you're not, and you're totally. What movie is it?
It reminds me of the show The 100 when they all
Yeah,
plug into
it's
that.
like that. But there's a movie too that it's like Wall-E, where they're like, it's kind of like Brave New World, where you're either in or you're like out, you're just like an outlier.
Is that
like
Gattaca? The Christian Bale?
Sure. Wally also.
Yeah.
I was thinking Wally when Bob was talking.
Oh wait, no, Gattaca. Everyone's on the like soma type drug, aren't they?
Well, they're all just genetically modified, and if you're not genetically modified, then you're a pariah, and they
Yeah.
actively test for you.
If you
Yeah.
haven't seen Gattaca, like that movie should have been as popular as The Matrix. It just didn't hit the same way. But oh my God, Gattaca's a great film.
Wasn't that an episode of Black Mirror too?
Probably.
Yeah.
It sounds It's,
I haven't caught up. I've watched
all of the people
a lot
that are
of them.
in, they see the people that are out as like they don't see them as human.
Yeah.
And the one guy, he can see them, and all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, all the people that they thought were like these monsters are just people, but they've been modified and they don't see them as people. It's really interesting.
yeah.
That's actually really interesting because that's the other thing about this CRISPR genetic, this new
CRISPR, like the veggie drawer.
like a veggie drawer.
snack crackers?
So it's this new technology that they've developed for like basically being able to like they can just change your genetics. So it's basically allowing us to genetically modify our genome so that we can just be whatever we want to be.
Well, it's already
And it
kind of
works.
it's already kind of happening. It's been happening for a while. Like, you can't do it in Canada. Like, legally, you're not supposed to do it in Canada. I don't know how it works, but like in vitro fertilization.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and they're going through the whole process, and he told me that in the U.S. you can actually, as soon as that sperm cell and the egg and everything, as soon as it's like we have a baby in the process, they can tell you right off the bat, sex, hair color, eye color, the whole deal. And then if you had a bunch of like pre-fertilized eggs, you could then say, well, I want blonde hair and blue eyes, get rid of the rest of them. You can pick the one you want.
Well, what this
That
what this
exists, yeah,
does.
that's the like build a baby kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So what CRISPR does, so let's use that as our example. They've got that. Now instead of having to have a bunch of them, they can go, we can put this piece of genetic code into that, and doesn't matter what the baby would have had.
Now it's
it
gonna be an
won't,
athlete.
now it won't have cancer. It will have like genes that will ensure that it's athletically capable, and it'll have blonde hair and blue eyes. Maybe it'll have purple eyes because we can just change whatever we want. So that's the idea. Is like designer genetics.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's like that's
Premise of Gattaca.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that technology exists. China's already probably using it,
It's happening.
experimenting with it.
So then, where does morals and ethics come into play here?
And
If
what
like if
happens
these
to
are
the
all
underclass, the people who can't afford to have a
Well,
genetic.
that's like
Well,
you
it's
just,
not even
you
that,
just
it's
explained like an Aryan race. Like you can have athletically, right?
That's what they're calling
Like,
it. They're calling it
that's-
soft eugenics.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if the rich can now change their genetics to be whatever they want, then it creates an underclass of
Yeah.
like subhuman
who can't do that?
to them.
Yeah.
Because they'll never be sick. They'll have like advantages in every possible way. They'll be more attractive.
So this is probably what Hitler was thinking.
Yeah, it's soft eugenics.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
it is like
That's
essentially
crazy.
if he could have done this, he would have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
now-
this technology hasn't like it's not being used, but like it creates a weird line because if rich people can now just buy not having cancer, but no one else can, then there becomes a class of like healthy people and not healthy people. Now,
Yeah.
which one do you want working for you?
Well, it even becomes like the ethics of like somebody gets killed, and it's like, well, we don't care because they were just
Yeah.
they were just a little test tube baby that didn't have a. They're not a real thing, right? Like we just made that thing.
For sure.
It's a super slippery slope, and we're at that point in our society where I don't think we can stop any of this stuff from happening.
No.
But we should like things like this. What we're doing, we should be having these discussions about ethically what should we do. Like what is the right choice because it's gonna happen, and now it's a matter of how we approach it.
Well,
And
how
to be
we
fair,
distribute it
there's gonna be really strong arguments on both sides of that fence. Like really, really strong arguments.
Any technology is,
Oh, yeah.
like, when has a technology not been available to poor, you know what I mean? Like, to rich people and been available to poor people. So, I mean, to me, any technology, whether it's been computers, that's the fight now, is getting computers to these people. There's always going to be something that creates that divide. It's just, we still have to create new things. Like, you can't just stop creating new things because, you got to really figure out the solutions.
well, we could
I wish I'd
stop.
finished that book because I think
gonna
it would be super helpful. Right now.
I was gonna say we could stop creating new things and fix the things that are broken first, but then we wouldn't be the cancer that we are to this planet
Yeah.
and continue to grow and grow and grow without
But
recourse.
to bring up the whole Ayn Rand, the whole putting the brakes on
every couple of weeks.
putting the brakes on the machine. Like I don't think we can do that, but we should be doing what we're doing, actively discussing and figuring out how we set the ship on the right course because it's not going to stop moving.
Tom should clarify his point. You don't mean stop creating. You mean stop.
It's more of a personal question. Like, how much do you allow society to influence you to say, I broke my arm. Now I have a bionic arm, or I have a rare heart condition, and now they use my DNA and grow a heart for me in a petri dish, and then replace my heart with a new heart.
As long as it's
Like, how far do
improving
you
my
keep going?
quality of life, like it's maybe a case by case thing. As long as it's improving my quality of life, yes.
So my question is like,
I feel the same way, but it's
Do you-
dangerous, isn't it?
yeah, like, does any part of you age?
Um,
Like, while they're fixing, you get a brand new heart. You got a heart of a 15-year-old,
yeah.
but you're 85 years old.
Man, I'd be falling in love with everybody. Remember what your heart was like at 15? You're just like, man, I love everyone. Man, that girl won't even talk to me.
But your skin starts aging, your muscles get sore and they age. Like, where I'm trying to come up with, like, morally, how far do you go with it? Like, do you have the money to fix yourself, but then you watch your kids die in car accidents or whatever? Like, you outlive certain things just by the roll of the dice. Like, do you want to see that happen? Do you want to have to live forever and work forever and not be able to have?
That's maybe comes. Yeah, it's just an individual basis.
Yeah, I feel like it's a scary door to open. That's
Yeah.
all I was trying to get at. Is
Yeah.
like, we get to a point where there's no return anymore. You, like you said, you're in or you're out, and as soon as you're in, there's no turning back.
Now, to end it on an optimistic note, just this is the way we figure these things out. We got to talk about them. So if you're watching, leave a comment. Let us know what you think, and maybe we'll come back to this because I think this is one that we could come back to as the news changes. Because I think we're going to get more news about this over the next couple of years. Probably. All right.